I once used to believe that elite focus and productivity and anything of this type was reserved for just people who were gifted, or like the monk type of people, and only people who live those types of lifestyles. And it took a while for me to realize that this just simply isn't true. And it speaks to one of the fundamental things that is stopping you from making progress. And there are three things that I'm going to discuss today, but this one thing that is stopping you, once you remove it, everything else is going to start to fall into place and you're going to make huge strides. All right. So if you're new here, my name is Andrew and I just make I just make content about focus and productivity. So if you like that, stick around, and if not, that's up to you. But let's get into the video. All right. So, I used to really truly believe that focus was something that was fully just not for me, right? It was something for people who lived in monasteries, or people who were just next level already, like in business and everything like that. And it took me a while to realize and identify that this was a self-limiting belief, right? Self-limiting beliefs are your number one enemy, right? Because self-limiting beliefs are something that you ingrain as part of your identity. And it's anything that you believe that you cannot do, or believe that you have just a limit on. Like, legitimately, you limit yourself in an aspect of your life. Whether this be your relationships, right? If you believe that you can't have good relationships, or that you don't have good friends and you can't make good friends, then it's going to stay that way. If you believe that, and if you come into that process with that mindset, if you believe that you don't have enough money, or you've never had enough money, and that you can't make money, then it's going to stay that way, right? Until you break out of that box and remove that belief. Because fundamentally, right, we live and act based on what we believe, right? You would not act on something that you know to be a lie, right? Like, if somebody told you that the best way to get jacked was to do one rep as heavy as you can go every day, you know that you're not going to build any sort of muscle, right? But if you believed it, you would actually go full-heartedly and go off and do that in the gym. But you don't, because you know better, hopefully, right? So whatever you believe, you're going to act in. And whatever you hear and you don't believe, right, you think it's wrong, you're going to avoid acting in accordance with that. You're going to avoid taking action from that standpoint. Right? So when you limit yourself and you place beliefs on yourself that limit what you're capable of, you are never going to push beyond that box, right? If you think that you cannot get in shape, you will do everything in your power to not get in shape, right? Even if you go to the gym and you start picking it up, you're going to fall off because you're coming from that point of view of, I can't get in shape, right? You have to fundamentally change how you view yourself in whatever it is that you're trying to change. If you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to become fit in the gym, if you want to become a socializer, right? All these things are great goals, great things to have. All that really matters is who you are in relation to it, right? What is your perspective on it? Right? When you break through that and you break through your limiting beliefs, not only are you just going to have more fun actually going and trying these things, because you genuinely believe that you can do it. You know that you can do it, and it's just a matter of figuring out how, right? So the process itself becomes a lot more fun because it becomes more like a puzzle, less like some big overlooming stress over your head, and less like some huge obstacle that seems like not able to overcome. It is fully just you knowing that you can do something if you apply yourself and working through it, right? So self-limiting beliefs are something that might take a little bit of time to work through, but you have to remove them as much and as often as possible. Like, when they pop up, whenever you catch yourself saying, I could never do that, or I can't do that, I'm not good enough for this, right? Just genuinely reflect on yourself and ask yourself, is that true? This is the first step to just leading a better, happier, and more fulfilling life, genuinely. Right. Now, the second thing that you want to do in your life is to start cutting things out, right? A lot of people love to put emphasis on adding things, myself included, like adding good habits like meditation into your daily routine. But first and foremost, you need to stop doing the bad things. Right? You need to stop engaging in bad behavior that harms yourself, right? Whether it's enjoyable in the moment or not is irrelevant, right? You need to stop engaging in behavior that literally harms you mentally or physically, right? This could be drugs, this could be video games, this could be scrolling on TikTok, this could be any sort of just hyper focused dopamine activity that just hijacks your brain, right? You want to just limit these as much as possible and wean yourself off of them, because quitting cold turkey on any of these things is probably realistically going to make you go back to it. But if you take stock of how much you're doing this thing already and just try and lower it by 10% a week, just do 10% less a week until you can really just ultimately go without it, that's going to be an amazing way to go through and make your body and your mind not dependent anymore on these things, not dependent on scrolling, not dependent on masturbating, right? If that's something that you have struggles with still, that really that should be a number one thing. Like if you're still struggling with that, you need to address that immediately, because that's going to stop you from working harder. That's going to stop you from actually getting girls or making friends like that. And it's really just going to stunt your overall growth as a human. It's going to hurt you in the gym. It's going to hurt you in every area of your life. So the second step is to just remove things from your life, right? First, you want to remove these limiting beliefs. That's the first step. But then you want to remove these activities that are actively harming you that you do regularly, okay? And you want to just wean yourself off of them, because your mind, body, and soul are just going to feel so much better when you're not interacting with these things, right? Part of the reason that we have a happiness epidemic is because, frankly, most people engage in activities that 60-70% of the time harm them mentally or physically, but they get pleasure out of it, so they don't realize the damage. But you realize the damage, you know the damage, so cut those things out. And the third thing that you need to get in your life is going to be a little different from the others, right? And it is simply going to be reflecting on your day at the end of each and every day. Now, you don't want to be judgmental during this. You want to go into it, and if you can, before bed, in the evening, just retrace your steps from the point that you're doing this backwards to the beginning of the day, and walk through it and reflect on each moment and say, did I spend my time as wisely as I could have? Did I engage in bad habits that I knew I shouldn't have? Was I engaging, or was I using self-limiting beliefs on myself? Did I give in to those, or did I do good? Did I rewrite them? Did I overcome them? And what this is going to do is going to rewire your brain to look out for things that you need to change. Because even if you're not actually going through and really reflecting hard, just going through this simple process of retracing your steps as many and as much as you can remember from where you are at the end of the day, all the way backwards to the front. The more that you can do that, it's going to build your focus, and it's going to allow you to just, even if you're not digging deep, like I said, it's going to allow you to just realize errors in your ways, the super blatant ones that you can change. And if you notice you do this for a week and you notice that, consistently, I do give into this one thing, or I do tend to have this thing and this event that happens that triggers me to do a bad habit, or anything like that, you're going to just notice that and pick that up the more you do it. And you're going to be able to just dispel that from your daily habits, your daily routine, and from your mind. And that is going to help you tremendously make progress in removing bad habits, removing self-limiting beliefs, and honestly appreciating more moments in your day. because when you look back through the day, you're going to realize how many good times you had, how many good moments, big or small, that you take for granted. And the combination of these three things is genuinely going to make you not only grow as a person, but just live a happier, more fulfilling life, right? Everything is going to become happier and more fulfilling when you actually appreciate the little moments and you can isolate exactly what you're doing wrong and what to change, right? And each step and every day that you do this is a step towards that better version of yourself, that step towards that ideal version of yourself. And that ideal version of yourself, right? You as the ideal version of yourself in your perfect life, you're happy. And by doing this, you can systematically just work your way to it. So again, start with removing self-limiting beliefs, then remove the bad habits from your life that are taking up your time, your brain power, and harming you physically. And take 10 minutes at the end of each day to just retrace your steps and reflect on what you did today and what you can do better tomorrow. And feel good about what you did today, regardless of whether you messed up or not. Feel good about it because you acknowledged that you can do better. And that's all that matters. If you are still struggling and you want to fast track your progress towards focus, productivity, any sort of mindset shift that you need to go through, then click the first link in the description and schedule a call with me, and I will be happy to help you on any area that you are struggling in to get you happier, healthier, and hopefully more productive and focused during each and every day. As always, I love you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay blessed.